Hi there, I'm Noah Bradley and this is Handmade House TV. On today's episode we're going to cover that topic of how much does a log cabin cost. I've got the answer right here, so stay tuned. Well, alright, thank you for tuning in today to Handmade House TV. On today's episode, I've got some information that I think will really help you discover how much your future log home will cost to build. And if you've been following along, you know that I've generated a couple of episodes, long in length, detailed, step by step, how that's a question that I can't answer. It was a question that I got way too often. How much does it cost? How much does it cost? And so I produced these other videos in order to break down how it's a question that there's just so many variables that it can't be answered. But nonetheless, it plagues me. I really want to help you figure out how much a log cabin costs, because costs are important. And I tell you, a lot of the emails I get are from individuals who dream of owning a log cabin, but they just can't afford it, which is one of the reasons why I put together the Bootstrap Building Academy course, which was 20 different ways that I save a significant amount of money when I build my own home. I've been building a log shed, and I've been demonstrating to you the process of doing that. I've given you lots of insights into how to build a log home. Today I want to share with you the cost associated with that log shed, and perhaps that will help you realize how much savings can be had in building your future log home. So some of the costs involved in that, I'm going to reel them out here. The logs cost me all of $225. If you recall, I harvested them from my own property, and I paid an individual to come in with a portable bandsaw to saw them up. The stones that I used for the foundation were free. They were leftover stones from another stone project that I had. Stone, if you're willing to undertake the effort of going out and gathering, is generally free. We live on a planet made up of the stuff. The floor joists that I used, I gathered from job site scraps, basically. I went out and I looked around for them and I acquired them. By the way, the birds in my yard today are unusually active, so I apologize if they are tweeting too loud. The plywood subfloor for the log cabin I bought new. I went to the local Lowe's and I bought it, and that came to a total of $68. The trim, if you recall, in a recent episode that I used to trim out the door and will be using for the upcoming windows as well, I found at the local landfill. The door I bought used off of Craigslist and cost me all of $75. The materials that I purchased in order to chink the log cabin, the wiring and the cement and a little bit of sand, came to a whopping total of $85. The roof sheathing, the board and batten material, and the fascia of the log cabin, I all acquired them all at my local sawmill at a tremendous savings. And the slate on the roof, I found that through, I think, Facebook or eBay, one or the other. It was used slate, and I went and gathered it in my pickup truck. My son and daughter-in-law gave me a hand, and that came to a whopping total of $100. The copper nails that I needed in order to install that slate roofing came to about a third of that, about $32. I ended up buying more than I needed, but I'll need them on another project. But nonetheless, copper nails are not cheap, but they last forever. The underlayment that I put underneath the slate, which was an option, but I did it in order to put the little cabin in the dry as quick as possible, that came to $45. And then I bought a couple of windows that I'm going to be demonstrating how I install them in the future, how I locate them and install them. So basically I've got all the material, and by the way, I got those windows for $5 each. And again, I bought them used. They are just perfect. And so that came to a grand total on this little log shed of mine. Walnut logs, stone foundation, slate roof, built strong as can be, solid wood walls everywhere. I guarantee you this structure will be around a century or perhaps 2 or 3 into the future. It's got a better roof than probably any house within 50 miles of it. And it came to a whopping total of $780. Now, I did some shopping, and I did some looking around and to find out what a shed of similar size would be. And of course, there's no such thing as buying a shed of similar quality as this. Nothing can quite compare to it. But the prices I was seeing was anywhere between $1,200 to $4,500 for a shed of a similar size. So you can see that by me contributing my labor into the mix, of me taking care of the design work, of me getting the permits, of me building the foundation, of seeking out quality used materials as well as new materials like from the sawmill, and putting it together step by step. It took me a lot longer than having one dropped off into my yard. It took me obviously more effort that I had to put of my own into the structure, but I was able to achieve a beautiful, breathtaking piece of architecture, something I'd be proud to leave for my legacy into the future, a very useful structure, and I was able to do it at a fraction of the cost. Now, to summarize everything, what I'd really like to get across to you today, and that is that if you want a really unique, special, handmade house, whether it's log or it's timber frame or it's stone, or better yet, even a blend of all 3 of them, and what is holding you back is the expense, the cost of it, that you feel that you can't have a custom structure and everything. What I'd like to get across to you is that if you put out the effort, you put it out yourself, if you throw yourself into your project, you can own a really unique, special home less than you can buy brand new and cheap and cover it in vinyl. It's just a question of the degree of involvement that you put into your future project. That's what it's all about. And so if you've gotten anything off of all of the Handmade House episodes that I put together, that's perhaps one of the strongest I'd like to deliver to you, is that you can do this. You can have the house of your dreams. If you follow along here, if you sign up for a guild membership or one of the academy courses over at handmadehouses.com, you can learn how to do this. You're fully capable of doing this. And you can go forward and you can hire someone else to put it together with the knowledge you have, and you can end up with a wonderful structure. But if cost is an issue, then you need to, the more you involve yourself into the construction of your future home, the more savings you can have, and eventually there's a balance there where you can have that house of your dreams. And I look forward to you sending me photographs of that one day. So anyway, that's it for today's Handmade House TV. Thank you much for joining me today. We look forward to seeing you here next week on Handmade House TV. Bye now.